what's happening? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I could hear you.
I
Can
can
you hear
hear you.
me?
Let me see. Is this a problem from my side? Let me try. See. I can hear you. Let me see. 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Uh, why am I not hearing?
Okay, this is much better.
Hello? Say something, Ezekiel. Let me see.
Can you hear me?
Ooh.
Hello?
Like,
Hello?
it's a lot of like
Background?
gotta connect to record and all that. Hello? Is it better now? Can you hear me? Say something.
Yes, I could hear you.
There
I
we
can
go.
hear you, but
See,
can
now
you
I
hear
can
me?
hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of like a whole setup to record it and everything. Sorry,
Oh,
like I'm late. I'm late to my own show. Can you believe it?
it's good.
Oh my god. I had to check on some people. They're doing like a construction work over there.
Oh, okay.
So I had to check on them. But
But it's fine.
for sure, man, I appreciate you joining. So you on campus right now?
Yes.
How is med school going so far?
Um, can you see my face? I
I
look so
can.
tired.
Yeah. Don't
But
worry,
yeah,
your face won't come into it's just the voice that I'm gonna
I
extract.
look,
So
I look so tired. Actually, it's going well. Let me
it's
not lie.
going well.
It's going well than how people
Yeah.
assume it to be. Probably because I'm a first year. This is my first class, which is anatomy.
Well, it's
That's
also
why.
because like you were Ezekiel. So.
But yeah, that's going well. No, 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 don't say no, don't say that. Do not mention that because I feel like there are a lot of people here that are like me, and there are people out there. You guys, everybody, we're all the same thing. We're all learning the same thing. There's no like I was a chemistry major. I didn't major in biology. Obviously, didn't like biology, but right now I'm doing everything biology.
Mm.
So it's not about being like as
You
smart
didn't
as
like biology?
I
My
did
guy.
not like
My
biology.
guy. This is the first time I'm hearing that from you. What?
Oh well, don't be surprised.
Really?
I like immunology. I
Mm.
like some specific parts, molecular biology,
Right.
genetics. I do not like
You
genetics
didn't
that
like
much. I don't like Jack
Oh
anything.
man. I'm gonna tell
Not
Dr. Hannon. Dr. Hannon, like
yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna be
don't.
like
I
Dr.
do not
Hannon,
like
did you hear what
genetics.
Ezekiel said?
Oh no.
Oh man.
Genetics is very close to molecular biology.
It is okay.
But I think there's some parts I don't just like about that. It's probably because of the
Mm.
phylogenic trees, and like you also have like those what is called them transposomes and all those
Yeah.
bonnier
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I do not like
Yeah.
that.
Genetics was
But
a
when it
lot
comes
though.
to like
Yeah, for sure.
transcription, translation,
Yeah,
those are
you got
fun.
that. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right. So I mean, I know that you were juniors when it comes to like organic chemistry and
we're all
chemistry stuff.
genius
So
together.
I mean, I was like, yeah. I was like, what? And like, I mean, Ezekiel doesn't like biology. Okay. All right. That's a new one. Okay.
Learn new things every day.
Um, but for sure, man, that's good to hear that stuff is going well. Yeah, like I said earlier, I'm super happy for you.
I'm
Like
happy for what you're doing with your life right now. I'm actually
thank you, man.
shocked.
Thank you. Appreciate
I
that.
am proud, probably one
Yes,
of the
sir.
most proud individual I've ever met. Like, I'm proud of you so much
Thank you, brother.
because this is something different. This was something that, like, is good. Honestly, this is perfect for your application to tell you that like,
Oh
this,
man.
even though it's not like for your application, but it's like an hobby
Yeah,
for you, like, it's
yeah,
something
it's
you're
not
passionate about.
motivation at all.
This
Right.
is a good future for you. Like, honestly, I was thinking about,
Thank
I
you,
was
bro.
like,
Thank
you're
you.
going to grow from this, you're going to grow bigger because you're telling
Right.
everybody's stories. And it's also nice because I was thinking, I was like, maybe when he becomes a medical student, he could also like invite patients to talk about
Exactly.
different patient experience and
Right,
how
bro.
patients also view
For
themselves
sure. For
instead of
sure.
how people like view them from different cultural backgrounds. So it's like it's nice and it's not just about all medicine. You're also like, but right now you're doing pre-med stuff.
I
Might
am.
branch out into like much more medicine. So
Right.
might be the black actually. And they say
That's
you be
that's
the black
that's that's
doctor,
definitely the
right?
plans, my guy. Is yeah, for sure. For sure. For
Definitely,
sure.
I'm definitely sure you make it, man. Like I
Thank you.
trust
Thank you,
You
Ezekiel.
like you started this, you're going to create, and you have like you're in different um apps,
Yeah,
Spotify, and like you
yeah,
made it.
yeah.
You
Thank
cleaned
you, man.
this, it takes
We're still
time.
it's
I
you're still in process.
love
Yeah.
I love your determination. I love that you actually did this. I you know what?
Yeah. I get a clap. Oh
I'm
man.
happy. I'm so you don't
I
understand.
get a
Because you know
yo.
when I see your messages on maps, I was like, that one made a podcast.
So guys, like you don't know, like for me to
Right?
get a clap from Ezekiel, I made it. That's it.
No. Not saying to give a clap for you.
Oh man.
Everybody needs to give you a
Oh
clap
man.
because man, it's
Right.
not easy. It's not an easy
Thank you,
stuff.
man.
And for
Thank
you
you.
to
Thank
actually
you.
think about it
Yeah.
and actually implement that idea takes stages. And you actually did it and you are doing great. Like I'm seeing your different episodes, like different doctors and like
Oh yeah.
from different backgrounds. And you know what? You're killing it.
Thank you, man. Thank
You're
you.
killing it. I'm
I
proud.
just gotta get into medical school now.
Yeah, that's the only thing. And when you get to
Right?
it, keep going.
Exactly. For sure,
Keep
man.
going.
I'll
Start with
be
patient, go deeper, like different
exactly.
department. Like, you always have something interesting.
Yeah.
And like one of the biggest I always think about is that I know a lot of people say, "Oh, Ezekiel is going to be ridiculous about this," but I always say that it's always good to have like a way for you to make money during med school.
Mm-hmm.
And if this goes so well,
Mm.
this is another income for you.
Right,
During med
right.
school, let's not.
I know you have like multiple streams of income.
I do not right now. I'm
Oh
fully MD
man.
PhD right now.
Right.
Fully MD PhD. I'm learning how to
Oh,
trade.
okay.
So that's something I'm doing right now. Learning how to trade, like doing my part time. I'm just like looking at like the market and stuff because that's what I want to look at as a second income. And also like from there, I just want to like go into like real estate, like
Mm-hmm.
branch out.
Right.
I'm I want to become an entrepreneur. That's one of my
Hey.
goals. Separate from the old
Man. Right.
medicine research stuff. Even like I was thinking of, I was telling you, guys, Beauty, Alima, and A4. I brought up a project to them that I'm proposing right now. I was like, if this goes so well,
Mhm.
we could build a pharmaceutical company based on this project.
Hey, let's do it. Please add me to it. Okay. Am I in? Am I in?
We'll see.
It's a deal. It's a deal, man. For sure, bro.
We'll see. If we need
For
more people,
sure.
like all of us are so busy right now. So if we need
Oh
more
yeah.
people,
Like when we become less busy. All
okay.
right, man. Let's dive in. So it's been nice catching up. Like, I mean, I remember like when was it? It feels like yesterday sitting in like general chemistry and you being my TA. Bro, like right? It's been such a long time.
Yeah, that's true.
But
That's
those were some fun times, man. Those were some fun times.
definitely. I kind of miss
Yeah.
being a TA right now.
Right.
Like,
Look at you now, MD PhD student.
I
Oh
know,
man.
right? I went along. I keep telling
You killed
myself,
it.
I killed this. Like every time,
Yeah.
I don't even care. When people talk about imposter syndrome, like I was expecting myself to feel so much imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
I'm in the midst of people that all of them Ivy Leagues, and then you just have someone from CUNY. And then I'm always I'll have imposter syndrome. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, I killed this stuff.
Oh no,
I
you
made
killed it. You earned it. You
here.
earned that spot, bro. For sure, man. For sure. Yeah, you earned it. All right, guys. So that was yeah. that I guess like that's been that's me and Ezekiel. So that's probably like the longest intro we've had in a while. But welcome to the to the 7th episode of the Premed Lifeboat podcast. We are indeed moving fast to bring you all the latest content. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. and hit the bell icon right next to it in order to be the first to know. Like immediately I upload a new episode, you're going to be the first to jump on it and hear the good stuff on it. And also be sure to give us a like on the video as well if you're enjoying it, the message and learning from this experience. Yeah. So today I have with us, oh man, Ezekiel Olumuyide. Did I pronounce that right? I tried, bro.
Very close.
I'm very close. Okay.
Very close.
Pronounce it. How was it?
Olumuyide.
Hey, Olumuyide. There we go. You gotta say it with the swag, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Olumuyide.
Yeah.
Let's go. Oh man. Yeah. So Ezekiel and I go way back. So like I told you guys already how I have a lot of smart friends. Ezekiel's like one of the top tier of that list, right? Like one of the smartest amongst them. And that's why I wanted to bring him on today. He just got into an MD PhD program. I'm Mount Sinai, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so I wanted to bring him in, talk with him, let him like share general advice, advice that he has for our listeners, and pretty much like what it takes to get into an MD PhD program and tips that he has. We're gonna dive into the MCAT and all of that, so stay tuned for that. So Ezekiel, tell us who is Ezekiel? Give us a little intro of who you are. For those who don't know you.
Ezekiel Olumuyide. I'm a native Yoruba, so I'm from the Yoruba tribe in Nigeria. I came to the United States in 2013. Initially, I went back to Nigeria in 2014 to finish my high school degree, and then came back to America in 2016 to further my career opportunities. And then in 2017, I started undergrad at CUNY Lehman College. I decided to major in chemistry, biochemistry, concentration biochemistry. It took me decades to actually, it took me time to actually decide to major in that. I was initially thinking I would major in biology, but I ended up majoring in chemistry. I have different research experience. I have research experience in like chemistry. I have research experience in like peptide synthesis, research experiences in immunology, in molecular biology, cancer, and also like I did a summer project on COVID-19 bioinformatics research. I've also like served in different board of directors. I've been a senator in CUNY Lehman College, a student senate, part of the student senate. I've also been a social media manager in Red Cross Club, which like we earned an award, one of the best club in New York City. I think it was 2018. During my time, it was 2018 or 2019. But during my time, I will also got invitation to the headquarters once, which the president went for. I've also been a TA for chemistry and like Bafo was my student.
Oh yeah. Long time ago. It was like yesterday, right?
A fun time. It was a fun time. It was actually fun time. But I've been a for organic chemistry and chemistry.
Yeah.
And that's a summary of like I think everything I've done. Currently, I am an MD PhD student. The reason why I decided to do MD PhD was because I love research so much. And I feel like there are a lot of questions that we have yet to answer about like human body. Like just today, I was talking to me and my group, we're talking to a professor about how the human body is developed, mainly like our throats and like the larynx and the pharynx, our throats. And it was just so interesting about what nerves works with those body parts. And there are a lot of questions that we are yet to answer. We don't even know, like the professor was telling us that, we don't even know. It's like, we don't know, we just group them together.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's just so interesting that these are questions that are out there that people are yet to like answer, and they are very important to answer. And for me, I just feel like the MD part of it is just like, I love interacting with people. I love hearing people's stories. I love advocating for patient health. I want to nurture like future physicians. And I also feel like having this MD experience is going to guide my research in depth more and much more better, like in reference to like the human body. So every time I do a research, I'm making sure that, like even though it's basic science research, I'm making sure that this can be well translated back into the human body.
Right. For sure. So that's Ezekiel. I told you he's smart. Yeah. So I was reading your LinkedIn message the other time, and I was like, dang, like I thought my name was long, but like your name is like really like what? Okay, see, Ezekiel Olufika Monjalayesu Oluwadolapo Jesuloba Olumuyide. Dang, yo, what? That's your whole name for real?
That's my own name for real.
Oh man.
Only two of those are in the birth certificates, which is Ezekiel Olufika.
By the way, the Nigerians listening are totally like killing me right now. They're like, bro, you just murdered his name. Like and I'm African too. Oh my god. Bro, okay, so tell me what goes into the name? What's up with it's so long? I thought my name was long. Yours is like,
honestly, I just feel like maybe at that moment what my parents were thinking were like, oh my god, this guy is going to make it in life.
You're like, our son is going to be so great, so we have to give him that name. Oh man.
I feel like all my names, if you actually look at all of them, they all connect back to God. All my names. Right. So each and every one of my names have Jesus or God in them. And so all of them is either, God brought me here, or I'm enjoying God wealth, I'm enjoying God's peace, health, like everything just connects back to God.
Right.
And so it's just so interesting. Like even though I'm saying like my parents thought like, I'll be great, but they felt like I'll be great in the God's part.
Right.
So right now, the part I believe, because I'm a Christian, so the part I believe like I'm going through, I'm like, is the part God wants for me, and I'm going through it smoothly, more than I expected.
Man.
So
for sure, it's all blessings, right? It's all blessings.
Yeah, it's all blessings.
For sure. All right, so now let's dive in, right? So, today I want us to focus on pretty much the transition from college into medical school and what that was like for you. So we're gonna start. You tell the story, and then I'll try to make good interjections to ask good questions for our listeners, so that they can, to try to direct the conversation in the right path. So, yeah, over to you now. What was that transition like, and what did it entail? Because I for sure know, especially it's already hard to get into MD program already, but to like get into MD PhD program, that's like on a whole other level. And so I want our listeners to know what it takes to get that, and to get into that. So yeah, over to you, Ezekiel. Let's
roll.
Yeah.
It has been one of the best experiences ever. I'm being sarcastic. No, it has not.
Right. Oh man, I'm gonna be like, you're the first person to hear that. Okay, but yeah. Sure.
Actually, I think one of the biggest things that I don't think I'll be doing so well if I didn't go to Lehman College. I feel like Lehman College, like the methods I learned at Lehman College actually prepared me for like this. Like all the people I've met at Lehman College always tell me, try to understand like the process of stuff, right? Try to understand the process of what material you're trying to go to. That's one of the things. Second thing is that your study methods. Every single class have a different study method, and every professor I've always met at Lehman College will always tell me like what study method is right for that particular class, right? And so when I came to medical school, a week before, I was freaking out. I was like, oh my God, am I going to study? Like everybody's always saying like, you don't have time for yourself. You don't have time to do any other stuff. It's all just like you're focusing on med school. And so when I started, initially I was like, I'm going to do Anki. Anki is like a flashcard. It's a software for flashcards. I was doing lecture. I was like, okay, I'm going to do lecture. I'm going to do Anki. I'm going to go watch YouTube videos. I'm going to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
But all those methods were just for me to figure out what method was the best thing for me.
Right. Ezekiel, let me pause you right there. So, guys, he just talked about Anki, right? The app Anki. If you want to learn more about it, I had an episode with Jamie about, I believe that was the 4th episode. So go back and watch that. Right after this, if you want to learn more about Anki. Yeah, Ezekiel, sorry for that interruption, but yeah, you can go on now.
But yeah, it was just like, there are a lot of these materials. I was trying to figure out what method was best for me. And the thing is that, initially when we first went, he asked me how medical school was. I was like, it's going good, more than expected. It was because I figured out the best method for me. So immediately I figured out, like, I just need to read the lecture, understand the process, do a lot of repetition. And the repetition does not mean I need to do Anki. The repetition is just for me, like during lab, we do dissections on the human body, on a dead body, which is a cadaver. We do dissections, and just based on those dissections, I'm like, okay, this is this. I go to another group table and I look at their own body and I'm like, okay, I'm doing a lot of repetition. And also it's my group. One thing I love about my group is that sometimes we meet and ask each other questions. So we can't know everything, but we try to help each other, try to remember it, and we make it easier. We look for acronyms, like just easy stuff to make each and every one of us like understand better. So my group, we just meet sometimes and we just like randomly ask us any questions that we did in the past 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And then if you know it, you answer. If you don't know it, the person asking might tell us the answer, or someone else that knows it will tell us the answer. And then that's like repetition for you. Because then you go to the lab, the same repetition. You meet a professor, is discussing about the human body. Right now, we're doing anatomy, so everything I'm talking about is going to be human body. But yeah, we go into the lab, we meet a professor, he talks about the human body, he asks us questions about the human body. We also go into lab, we ask our other people in the other groups about the human body. So it's everything repetition and just like studying the lecture. That's one way. That's the way I found that is best for me.
So let me ask you what is it? So you know how like back in high school, right? It used to take us like a whole year to go through like the course material, and then you come to college, it takes you about 3 to 4 months to go through it for a semester. What is it for med school? Is it a week, like I've heard? How is it?
It's a month.
It's a month. Okay.
All right. Month. I think one thing about Mount Sinai, Mount Sinai is kind of different from other schools, because for other schools, like you have anatomy as a whole topic on subject on its own. You just focus on anatomy, and you do it within a month. That's the whole human body, like everything, like all the structures in human, and it's much more in depth, not like the old like surface area. It's much more in depth, like I'm going through nerves, different nerves, like what the nerves do, the muscles, like what they do in medical terms, like going through different stuff.
So that was just a diversion. So like you were talking about another way of study.
Okay, back to another way of study. Another way of studying that I've seen, particularly not me, I'm not good at it, is Anki. Some people here just study fully based on Anki. Like one thing about Mount Sinai was that they provided ICANN School of Medicine, that they had like a student website, and this student website is where people like upload like their own materials. So you have people from past years uploading their own Anki decks, right? And there was one Anki deck that people pile up everything that I've learned from like 2015 to like now. They just pile it up into like an Anki, and for everything on anatomy. And then you could just like go on it, and just some people just study based on that. Like they literally just like memorize everything on Anki. That works for them, right? That's another way, but you have to be really good at Anki and being focused on Anki. That doesn't work for me because it takes me time for me to like actually, I need to understand. Like I said, I'm someone that I prefer to understand how it works and like feel it. I like feeling it and do
like
stuff.
So like I'm a huge proponent of like Anki. But for sure, I see what you're saying. Like,
Exactly. Even for the M cards, I wasn't finish the Anki cards, the mice down Anki cards.
You didn't finish it?
Nope.
Wow. and you still killed it like that.
I could not do it. Like that
Yeah.
stuff was so stressful.
Yeah.
Anki was so stressful for me. And it's just going to make people feel like that. It's just showing that it is still stressful.
Right.
I've realized that a lot of people, you have to end up using it to your second year for step exams.
Right.
But right now, I'm just like taking a little bit,
taking
like
it by step by step. Okay.
Step by step.
All right. So since you just brought up the MCAT, right?
Yeah.
Okay. First off, before I even dive into it, tell us, what was your score? Tell our listeners what your score
I think everyone knows my score, 5.
I know, but tell our listeners, Ezekiel.
Right? Yeah, so
what did you get on the MCAT?
513.
513. Solid. So, bro, people out there, some people are struggling to go over 500. You got over 500 into the 510s. How did you do that? And what did it entail?
Let me see.
Like you just took that long pause. Like, let me think.
Studying. I'm not going back to it. I can never go back to it. I actually prefer my medical school studies than going back to the MCAT.
Oh, wow. Okay, so when did you study? Okay, first, when did you take the MCAT? Like,
I took it like 2020.
I mean, like the month.
Last year. In June.
In June, okay.
Yeah.
So when did you start studying for the MCAT?
I actually started studying in January. And then I stopped. I was going to take it like in April, because I already started in December. I was like studying January to April, 4 months, perfect time. Because I was taking classes February, March. I was taking like PChem, biochemistry, like higher level classes. I was like, 4 months is enough for study.
Right.
Okay.
So right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so ask a question.
Yeah. So like that's quite interesting. So you said you started, and so that means this was when, June 2020 or 2019?
2020. That's when I did the exam.
Okay. So you applied June 2020 as well?
Yeah.
Aha. Okay. So June 2020. No. I mean, like, you applied in May, not June. But you applied in May.
Actually, I applied in July.
Oh, okay. In July, actually.
Okay. 1 week after I took my exam. Yeah.
Okay. So that means that I'm asking for our listeners so that like they can know that like there are a lot of ways to get into medical. So it's just not one straight path, right? That's what this podcast is about, and this channel is about. So what I'm getting is, you took the exam in June. Started your application back in May, right when it opened, and then submitted it between June and July, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then, so that what that means is you pretty much started getting your interviews back around, say, for 2020?
Yes. Yes. Actually, all my interviews were for 2020.
Right. And that also means that you pretty much submitted your application without your MCAT score.
Yes.
Okay. So talk to us about that.
Confidence is the key.
Confidence is the key. I like that.
Oh yeah. One thing I try to tell everybody is that when you study for the MCAT, please do not study to put yourself backwards. So do not study to say, oh, I'm going to get 500, and if I get 500, that's fine with me. If you ask everybody I studied with or like people I advise, I'm like, study like you want to get 528. You know, when you take an exam in college, you study like you want to get an 100.
Exactly.
Right? You don't study to get a 70. Right? You want to study. That was for me. That was always my idea. I didn't care about what everybody else got. Right. I wanted to I'm going to study like I want to get an 100. And even if I don't get an 100, at least I know this is why I failed. For the future, it might not be used for the example. For the future, it's something I can remember. Right. So I always studied to get an 100 in college. And so when I was taking the MCAT, I remember putting into Dr. Calvin stuff, his form. And it was like, what score do you want to get for you to apply to medical school? And I told him, I put 528.
Yeah, 528. Let's go, man.
He emailed me and it was like, you don't need a 528 to apply to medical school. I told him that it's not about, it's the mindset that sets me to put it that way. Because if I start putting myself below, I won't study as much. Because if I want to get 528, I know I need to put the work in to get 528. So it was the mindset, it was the mentality that made me say, if you want to study for the MCAT, study like you want to get 528. Put in that work. Even though it's going to take you, don't do 12 hours a day, but like if it's going to take you 6 months, 8 hours a day, do that. Because, but it's not that I'm saying that, oh, you're going to 100% get a 528. It's just the mindset, because that will help you keep going. So that even though you get your goal, even though I got my goal, like the highest I got on my practice exams were 518, right? That was my goal. 518 was my goal. I was like, and it was like 2 weeks before my exam. I got 518. Also, I was like, that's my goal.
Yeah.
However, I still kept studying because I wanted to increase it. I didn't put that stop. So when people are studying, my best advice, have that mindset. And even though you get your goal, you still want to score more than your goal, right? Or you want to keep studying. Because immediately, the thing about them, immediately you stop studying, everything you know start going down. Going down. Like, start going away. And so you have to be repetitive with your studying. Always, you're always in the game of studying. But yeah, that's my first advice mentality. Second advice, how did I study? First thing was college. The college, people think that you don't need your classes to pass the MCAT. You actually do need your classes. It's going to help you so much. It's going to relieve the stress from studying so much. A lot of people study for studying's sake, or like they go to, they're like, oh, I just want to get an A in the class and get out from the class. The best thing is that if you're a freshman, best advice is that try to understand as much as you can understand during school time, during your college time, because that will help you. It will solidify your memory. It will solidify your method of studying, and to make things easier for you to understand why study for the MCAT. Because when you're studying for the MCAT, you start realizing stuff like, oh, they connect with each other. Oh, this connects with this. And so it becomes easier for you to like make use of all those options. So it's just try to understand as much as you can. And then when you start studying, everything becomes much cleaner, smoother, better for you. Third advice, I use Khan Academy to study. I'm someone that, like I said, I love feeling it in my body. I love understanding it, or I love it. Another way I love studying is visualization. So if I can feel it, I try to visualize the process of it. Memorization is not my skill, so all the other methods is just a way for me to help myself with the memorization step. But I love visualization, and Khan Academy was the best. So I didn't buy any, I didn't do any, I self-study. I didn't buy any, what do you call it? Any plan, any of those.
Question sets.
No.
Wait, which one did you use
practice exams?
Which company did you get your practice exams for?
Next Step. I use all Next Step.
So now it's called Blueprint.
Yeah, Blueprints. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So all of them? You used all of it from Blueprint?
No, I didn't do exam 5 and 6. I only did like, in total, I did Next Step, 4 Next Step. I remember doing 1 pre-screen review exam. And then I did 4 AMC. So I did a total of 9 practice exams.
Wow. Over 4 months. Huh.
Over 6 months.
Over 6 months. So from
January to June, so 6 months. Approximately 6 months.
All right. So like let me ask you this. So those 6 months, I remember you said you stopped somewhere. Did you?
Yeah,
you pretty much. Right. You were taking classes during this time, right?
I was taking classes during this time, and
then I remember seeing you in the lab too. So you're like you were juggling all that at the same time.
Yeah, I was also in the lab at that time.
Yo,
that's true. I was also in the lab at that time. I was also doing I was a T. I was also a tutor at that time. So I was doing everything as much as I can do during the winter period. I try to study as much as I can. I try not to study for chemistry, organic chemistry. instead I use my TA and my tutoring stuff to like study for it, like try to use that to supplement.
That's a smart
I was
idea.
taking biochemistry class, so I was like, I don't need to study for biochemistry. I was taking biochemistry too. So for biochemistry too, you need to know like all the mechanisms and all the like reactions
in detail.
Like I did organic chemistry for biochemistry 1. So I need to know all this stuff. So I didn't study much for biochemistry. I had to do the whole biology myself again. I actually did the whole biology within a week. I studied the whole biology course within a week. For physics, I was doing PChem, physical chemistry at that time. So that helped me when it came to like energy, understanding how energy works. That helped a lot. But the rest, I studied physics within 2 weeks and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So right. The reason I asked that question was because I pretty much want our listeners to have an idea of of your schedule back then. And that it was a really busy schedule, but you still got a 513. So point blank period is that this is totally doable. Regardless of whatever schedule you have, you just have to find what routine works for you. So thanks for bringing that up, man. So okay, you said you took, was it 4 or 3? Wait. So yeah, it was four blueprint exams, 1 Princeton and 4 AMC, all the 4 AMC. Okay, so what that tells me is, let me see, why did you take Princeton? What went into that decision?
So I was trying to get a free exam to start.
Let's go.
That was
Bring on all the free stuff.
Next step, first next step was free.
Yeah. Okay.
I was not about to pay for any practice exams. I was trying to go zero. I didn't want to spend much money for study for them, because like I was going to go easy money, like I'm not going to spend a lot of money. I ended up buying UWorld in addition to all those.
UWorld, in what month did you buy UWorld?
I bought it in April. I didn't even finish it.
I was going to ask you, how helpful was it?
The best. If you are saying for them, please use UWorld. UWorld makes things easier. Like in any way you want to study flashcards, you can make a flashcard with UWorld. If you like visualizing, UWorld is there for you. If you like understanding, UWorld will make it easier for you to understand. If you like acronyms, they could help you generate different. Excuse me. They could help you make different acronyms. Sorry.
Yeah. Hey, we need that H2O, yo. See, that chemistry comes into play, right?
No, exactly, it does.
Exactly. Right?
No, honestly, it does. Every time you're doing cooking or doing stuff, they try to think of chemistry.
Yeah.
But yeah, UWorld is so helpful. Do UWorld, try to complete it, because if you complete it, your life will be easier. Like, because when you practice UWorld, it gets you in the practice mode. It makes you understand how the MCAT is. The AMC questions are I actually think the AMC questions are easier than UWorld questions, but UWorld is the best representation apart from the AMC, which is the MCAT source.
Okay.
The best representation.
Yeah.
Better next step.
Right. Okay. So now I want to ask, before we dive into any other stuff, I want to ask about what your practice exam scores were. The first blueprint exam, the free one. What did you get on that? That's probably the diagnostic, right?
Yeah. The first, I think it was like 498.
198.
Yeah. It was with Jack. Actually, the first one I tried took was with, I said Jack. The first one I took was by myself. It was 493.
Okay.
And then when I was doing that 493, I didn't have like any paper or any pen. I didn't understand the MCAT format. I just went there. I was literally calculating. I was like this. So it is 2 + 2 divided by 4. Everything was me thinking in my brain. So I didn't use that as my diagnostic, because I didn't actually everything was just me thinking,
like you weren't ready at
calculating. Everything was like for my brain.
Right.
So Dr. Calvin set up a practice, a diagnostic exam. It's going to represent how the MCAT was, everything. And so I decided to take that. It was like, I think it was like 2 weeks after I took my initial diagnostic. I didn't study, I didn't review anything. So I was like, there, fresh, I didn't know anything. So it was exactly the same way. But this time I had paper, I had time to like write down some stuff and like able to calculate better. So that I usually say my diagnostic is 498. But yeah, it's 498. That was my first accepted score. That I called my diagnostic. And my highest score on the practice was 518.
Okay, so let's take it one by one. First, so blueprint, we already have 2 of them out, right? 2 of them are out. First one was 493.
Diagnostic was different.
Oh, okay. Okay. So diagnostics, all the 2 diagnostics out, separate, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So first official full-length exam, because the diagnostics, they're pretty much, guys, if you don't know, they're pretty much like half diagnostics. So they're pretty much like half of the time, half of the content. So first full-length exam, what did you get? Let's take it one by one.
508.
At 508 on the first full-length exam. When did you take that? Are you kidding me? You can get into medical school with that score, right?
No, actually, that was not my first full length.
Okay.
Dr. Calvin exam was my first full length, but it was a diagnostic. I consider it as a diagnostic.
Okay, so the second one.
The second one was Princeton review. That one, my score went down. My score went to 492. And it was just like, it was depressing. Like Princeton
in your view, do you think Princeton review questions are harder?
I actually think they're easier.
In
a way. The reason why I thought they were easier was because when I was reviewing, I figured that it's because the reason why I felt it was because I didn't know anything. I was thinking that psychology was enough for me to study and then I could take the exam. At that time, I only studied psychology. So I took the exam after studying only psychology. So when I took the exam, I was like, the majority of what I got wrong was in the biology section and also in the chemistry section. So Princeton review was majorly material based. That's why I think it was easy because you don't need to think much for the Princeton review.
So the Princeton review was the third one, right?
Yeah, it was the second. It was the second one after the diagnosis.
All right. So the third one, what do you got? That was blueprint.
That was the 508.
508. And I was saying, you do know that 508, you can get into medical school with that score, right?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. And you got it on your third full-length exam. Okay. Yeah. So you officially started studying back in January. What month did you take the third full-length exam? The one you got a 5.
That was in the middle of February.
The middle of February.
Yeah.
Wow. Between those 2 midpoints, what did you do to get a 508 from a 493, 492, 498?
By the middle of February, I've already gone through biology and I've gone through psychology.
So what was your score then, like on psych and social? What did you get?
My psych initially was like 123 or 122 on my first full length with Dr. Calvin. And then it went to 126. Yeah, 126 or 127 around that range. So that was like 3-4 point jump. And then my biology, like I said, I've gone through biology.
Yes.
So my biology went up to, I've forgotten the increase, but it's also increased enough to boost my score to 508.
Okay. So bio is more like research. The biochem section is more like research based, right?
Yes.
How did you crack that?
I'm a researcher.
There we go. Oh man.
So my brain was already centered around research.
Correct. So I'm asking because so like what are the tips you have for our listeners who are not into research, right?
Yeah. Find something you're interested in reading. That's the first out there. I was talking to Lydia, Dr. Williams at CUNY, and I was telling her that we need to create a journal club. You don't need to be involved in research. It's just a journal club for people who are interested, interested in a particular subject. If you're interested in neurosurgery,
right,
read neurosurgery topics. Just go on PubMed, go on Google Scholar, search for how does the ventricles create CSF, that's the fluid in the brain. How does it create the fluid in the brain? That's enough. That's a starting point. Trying to understand the process, because research is a story, right? Every time you do research, you're trying to create your own story. So if you find what you're interested in, try to understand that story. Try to understand what support their story. What are the evidence that support their story? That just build your mind on understanding the terms about research. Because research has its own terms. You see words like upregulation, downregulation, vice versa, mediation. You see all these complicated words. I was talking to a freshman once. It was like, why don't they say overproduction? That's much easier. That's overexpression or like overexpression. Exactly. Like, why don't you say overproduction?
Below expression.
Exactly. Below expression.
Oh man, that's the funniest thing.
Like, why do scientists make it so hard to understand? And I truly understand it, but I'm saying that it's because the society we have to go back to history. We have to look at how history have already set it up. They have set it up that way. And when people come to make it in research, you also have to understand the terms in that research. And so every research has its own different term. But if you find what you're interested in, that will guide you towards understanding how research works. So you don't necessarily need to do research to know how to do that biology section. You just need to read papers, understand how papers work. That's one way. Second way that I use personally, even as a researcher, I was using it, was I drew maps. You can ask Alima. Alima right now is in SUNY Upstate Medical School. You can ask Alima, when we're studying, I was saying, Alima, bring out your paper, draw maps. When I mean maps, draw how the reaction occurs, right? If they say, oh, this protein called P53 is downregulating anti-apoptosis protein, right? Write that down. Or if they say P53 is upregulating a pro-apoptosis like BAX, write that down. Draw it, right? P53 is equals to, draw an arrow up BAX protein. That's simple. That's easy.
That way you can keep track of it, right?
That way, exactly, keep track of the passage. Right. Because now you don't need to go back to the passage. You already see, this is what my stuff said. P53 is increasing BAX protein. So if they ask you a question, what happens when you increase P53 in a cell? You can already say it causes cell death because it's increasing a BAX protein, which is for cell death.
Correct. See, I'm using the terms now. Oh, there we go. For some reason. There we go. All right. So
people say increasing. People don't say increasing is usually over expression and stuff. Increasing. Why doing the MCAT, your mind doesn't think of increases. Nobody's going to think of upregulation over expression doing the MCAT. Increasing is the best one for you to think of. So just that map equals to an arrow going up P53. When you are doing the figures is another problem. Those figures that you see, they might look intimidating, but when you read research papers, to one research paper every week or 2 weeks or every month, try to read one. It will make it easier for you to understand those figures. And so one thing I did also was I also advised Halima and like every other person I studied with.
By the way, what did Halima get on the MCAT?
I think it was like 503 or so. I don't remember. 503. It was 503 or 505.
You said she got into SUNY downstate, right?
SUNY upstate. She's in SUNY upstate. Right?
Nice. Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah. We want that to actually do that.
It's doable, guys. That's the whole point.
It's doable. Honestly,
it's doable.
Actually, and you also need a support system, but we'll go over that later.
Yes.
So, draw a map. When you look at the figures in the biology section, interpret that figure before moving on. Write down what the figure is telling you. This protein is increasing this. This protein is increasing this. Draw it. Do not write down a sentence. Just draw like an arrow. If it's putting stop, if it's stopping a protein, put a stop sign. Right? X, easy, is a stop sign. If it's activating, put a checkbox. It's activating. That's what I did. I made everything easier for me, but that way I'm like putting a checkbox, X, arrows to help me interpret what is happening in the reaction or what is happening in the figure. That's what I did, because when I didn't go back to those passages, I did not. All my answers were based on what I wrote down. This is what's happening. What I wrote down tells me everything about the passage.
So that's actually a smart way to save time, right? Like the whole like shortcuts that you were using. Oh yeah, take notes, guys. All right, bro. So
that's very important.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing all your knowledge on that. Oh yeah. So I mean, I'm assuming that right after you got a 508, from there it's just an upward third, right?
It was
of pretty much
like it was
from
not.
Once you get into the 500s, it's just right.
Yeah, once I got into 500, I stayed in the 500s. Right. However, it was, oh my god, you didn't understand my emotions at that time. I was so happy. I messaged everyone. I was like, oh my god, go with 508. Yeah, finally. Right. I was so happy. And that was my third exam. But like, since I've already taken prison review, I was thinking I failed it. But then when I took the next step, I was like, okay, after doing biology, I was like, okay, I'm doing fine right now. And so a problem was I didn't review the exam. I kept studying. Not practice, but kept studying. And so March came, and COVID-19 came when March came. And so we all had to go indoors. Right. And so I went indoors. My family did not know I was taking the MCAT.
The whole family did not know you were taking the MCAT.
Nobody knew. Nobody in the family.
No. How? Because like you just stayed in your room and locked the door?
No. I didn't.
Okay.
What I did was that I'll study for like 3 hours or 2 hours. Yeah. And then I'll go down, I'll interact with my family, like go up, interact with everyone, go back 2 hours. I was studying like 4 hours a day. Right. I was not like doing a straight, like, so nobody knew I was studying for the MCAT. So everyone was always calling me, JJ, go. Everybody calls me JJ in my house. Like, JJ, go do this stuff. JJ, go do that stuff.
Now I know. JJ.
Yeah, JJ. Now you know. But yeah, everyone in my family calls me JJ. It's a short form from Monjola Jesu, the Monjola Jesu, Jola Jesu.
Now, when I see you out there, I'll just be like, JJ, what's up, man? All right.
That'll be great. That'll be fine. It's much more easier.
Of course.
But yeah, nobody knew. But did that affect me? It didn't affect me much, because even when I was in school, I was not studying that much. Because I had classes already. So I think what affected me was that I stopped studying. I stopped studying in the end of March. When I meant I stopped studying, it's not that I was not doing any studying, was that I was only doing 30 minutes study a day.
And when you say study, you mean content study, right?
Yes, because at that time I was mainly content study.
Right. So around like 3 months into it, you stopped doing that. And now you kind of concentrated on like reviewing the exams.
At that time, not really. Because at that time I was only doing, like I said, at that time when I mean stop study, I went like I was only doing 30 minutes a day. I went from 4 hours to 30 minutes. I was saying that after studying for like 30, when I mean study, I'm like, I'll do, all this like MCAT question of the day.
Yeah. With Jack Weston.
Review it.
Right? With Jack Weston. Did you use that, or which website did you use for the MCAT question?
It was not for cars. It was for like just random questions. I've forgotten. Yeah. I've forgotten the site, but it was just, I'll receive an email of like, MCAT question of the day. Yeah. It will give me like 3 questions. I answer those, and then I review those.
I was just saying, do you remember the company of it? Was it Jack Weston?
I could search for it. It wasn't Jack Weston. It was like Red. It was Red profile stuff.
Okay. Can you find it for us so that people
right
can
now,
search it up?
Please.
Yeah. It can take like 1 minute and search it up. Yeah. That way they can search it up and start using it.
Search on. Seems to be Blueprint. Yeah,
Oh, it
it's
was Blueprint.
Blueprint. Yeah.
Okay, so as part of the package that you had for Blueprint, they were able to give you like question of the day for the MCAT.
No, that's I think that's free.
Okay, it was free. Okay.
That's free. That's free.
All right, guys. Now you know.
Trust me.
Now you know. Right. Okay. Yeah. So
But yeah,
no one in the house knew you were taking the MCAT.
nobody knew. I don't like pressure. I don't like people pressuring me because I knew the people will ask me like every single day.
I gotta pause you right there. How did you take your practice exams in the house without anyone knowing? Where did you take your practice exams?
I locked my room on those days.
You locked it?
Like
Okay.
I just like
And like
locked
no one disturbed you? Like no one
no
knocked on
one
the door?
disturbed.
Not
You know,
okay.
before the COVID, I was taking it in school. After COVID came, because before the COVID, I would go to the lab around 8 a.m. I remember going to Moria's lab, Dr. Osmani's lab, in the morning to take the exam. 8 a.m. I leave the house by 7 a.m., get there by 8 a.m. because normally MCAT starts. I registered my exam around that time, I think.
Right, like
but
7
something. Yeah. I initially I registered my exam April 8 a.m.
Okay.
So I was going 7 a.m., reach there by 8 a.m., do the exam. Followed exactly the same way I want to have on the MCAT day. But then when COVID-19 came, I didn't initially change my months. But when they started like moving stuff, like you can do the exam in April, I chose June. That was the end of April. Yeah, that was the end of April because that's the next time I did an exam, a practice exam. So I did do an exam from February to like April. But I did another practice exam in April. That was actually when I changed my date to June. And that April date was also, I think I chose like a night date. So it was like I was going to do the exam from like 6 p.m. to like 11 p.m. That was when the 5 hours came.
Right. So again, you had the mindset of getting a 528, right? And so in other words, doing your best on it. And so for that reason, I'm guessing you moved it from April to June so that you could reach that goal and get a higher score and give yourself a better chance, right?
That was actually when I took the next practice exam. That was when I decided I was like, I needed to start studying more.
Right.
Because I stopped studying. So I stopped studying March. April, Alima was telling me at that time. That's what I'm saying. You need a great support system because Alima was telling Ezekiel, you need to take the exam again. I was like, I'm doing MCAT question already. I'm spending like 1 hour. I'm fine. Like I'm sure my score have increased. I did the exam on next step. I got the same 508. Actually, 507. I got 507. I was bummed. I was like, wow. So all the 1 hour a day that I was doing was useless. Like I was not studying. And so I freaked out. I was like, and that was when I bought UWord. I went on Facebook. There was a Facebook group called Premed Hangouts. And so I went on there. I went on Reddit, the MCAT Reddit forum on Reddit.
So Reddit is another good resource, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Take notes, guys.
So I went on subreddit. I was like, I was reading people post on like that materials. I was going. I wrote a post on the Premed Hangout in Facebook group, and people advised me like, get UWord, get some stuff. And you know, I'm applying for MD PhD. At that time, I was sure I didn't apply for any MD programs. So I was sure that MD PhD was what I wanted to do, but I knew that for MD PhD, you need an higher score. And if you want to get a good school, like one of the top 10s or like top 20s, you need a really high score. And so I was like, I have the research experience, I have everything else, but my MCAT has to be good enough. And so I started studying again. As I bought UWord, that's when I started rigorous studying. So when I mean rigorous study, I was doing more than 4 hours a day. And I was doing practice, UWord practice, UWord all the time. I didn't do all those I forgot about biology. I've already done all those biology, physics review and everything in February. So I didn't review any of them again. Psychology and sociology, I started in Anki miles down for psychology and sociology because I felt like initially I didn't do Anki. So I felt like I needed Anki at that stage because I forgot everything on psychology and sociology at that time. I didn't remember anything anymore because last time I took an exam was early February, middle of February. So I forgot everything about psychology and sociology, started in Anki at that time. I started the Anki, and I was doing like practice all the time for the other sections on U World. I did another practice exams, my score didn't change.
Wow.
That was the third next step I did. And that was the last next step I did. My score didn't change. Was I bombed? No. Why? Because when I reviewed it, after I felt like I didn't get much this time. As much as the last one. Even though I got 507 on that last one, that one I wasn't as sure as myself when I was doing this one, because this time I was sure of like, these are the questions I might get wrong and these are the questions I might get correct. But also take notes, every time I was doing the exam, my mind was still saying, oh my God, by the time I'm done with this, I'll get a 528. That was all my mind was going.
Right.
So even though I got a 508, like that exam, I wasn't that bummed about it because when I reviewed it, I was like, before I even reviewed it, I actually looked for review methods. What are the best review methods out there? Right. Because at that time, the way I review is that I just go through it. Like I just, when you look at it, you read the question and see, oh, I feel this one, this is why I feel this, you move on.
Yeah.
Right. Then I went on Facebook. I actually asked Christian Punu. I asked him how he does his review. And also asked Alima and everyone else. I also went on Reddit, and that's when I figured out you could use an Excel sheet, right? You write what you filled, you write down why you chose the answer in a column. In another column, you write down what was the answer, you write down why was that the answer, and then you also write down like what made you feel it compared to the right answer? What were the difference in that in your thinking and your thinking? And then the next column will be what will I do next? What will my mindset be next step? So by doing that, you're having much more in-depth thinking of what you feel. So it wasn't like initially like the old, oh, this is why I feel, this is why I feel it, and all those stuff. It wasn't that anymore. It was much more in-depth.
Right.
So I did figure out most of the time the reason why I failed was because I changed my answers. That was one of the reasons. Another reason I was thinking too in depth. Because remember, I'm a researcher, so I'm thinking too much in depth. I don't even need to think. And so that Excel sheet already showed me the things why I was already facing some questions and what I need to do for the next exam. I practiced these things on U World, and my score on U World went higher, right? Wow. Well, let me bring this back to about it wasn't so knowledge that we're going at the chemistry CP, the chemistry physical section and the biochemistry section. Yeah, those are the two that we're going at. My cars, we'll talk about that after.
Cars, yes.
Talk about cars.
Okay, but right after this,
I'll talk about that.
Oh yeah.
We'll talk about that. So my psychology section went high after that. So the next exam I took was the AMC. I've forgotten the first one. I think it was
what was your
AMC? It was in May.
Yeah.
It was the middle of May.
What was your course? Psych Soc. What was the score? What did it rise up to?
I did in total on my exam day 128. Did I like psych and sociology? No.
Right. That's a pretty nice score.
Yeah, I think it was psychology. Everyone says psychology and sociology is the easiest to improve. It was my hardest to improve. Everyone is getting like good score on psychology and sociology. I was like, I tried to get an high score on psychology and sociology. I could not do it. I was still stuck on 126, 126, even after those like all those study and stuff. My biology and chemistry kept increasing, right?
Okay.
Psychology, sociology, stagnant. I tried Anki, still stagnant. How did psychology and
You
sociology?
try that
Because the
again,
end,
like I'm not feeling it in my
I got
body.
511.
Oh wow! I said you tried that again, you're
Yeah.
like I'm not feeling it in my body.
I'm not. You can't feel psychology and sociology because I'm not a psychiatric
Right.
patient. I'm not.
You're like,
I don't have like
I'm
the
a science
business
major.
that
Let's get
about.
this.
Yeah. How I was able to increase my score. The highest I got on my practice for psychology and sociology was 130.
Wow.
But how I was able to go from 126 to 130 was because I started to think like a psychologist and sociologist. So I was doing a side quest. I was thinking, if I was a psychologist, how would I approach what this problem is stating? Right? I forgot about being a chemistry biologist. I started thinking more of how a psychologist would think. When psychologists think, most of the time they think about things related to psych behaviors, right? Things related to their laws. I started to think like that. Forget about like what a chemist or biologist think. That helped me so much. When I did the what do you call this stuff? When I did the sociology part of it, I was thinking like a sociologist. Sociologists, they tend to think about society. They tend to think about the community and everything. I started to think more like that. That increased my score so much and it helped me so much, which was so I was so appreciative of. So my advice for if your score is not increasing for psychology and sociology, and if you don't like memorizing that well, another thing you could do for psychology and sociology is start thinking like a psychologist or a sociologist for the P&S. Now for the cars section.
Yes, sir. Cars. Let's go.
Not everyone like the car section.
Yep.
Let me pull up what I told someone. So for the car section,
yeah.
My cars went score was actually what kept me stagnant because my peak head, my biology section and the chemistry section, both of them have already reached 131 at that time. They're already going great. I was like, yes, 131 is a really good score. I just need to reach 132 for both of them.
Right.
But for the cars and for the PS have tried to increase it as much. But for the cars, 2 weeks before my exam, I got 121. No, 3 weeks before my exam, I got 121 in the car section. 2 weeks before my exam, I got the score 122.
How did you deal with that? Wow.
And my MCAT, I got 126 on my cars. So now,
right.
How did I increase it for within 2 weeks? What I graded in cars, I graded a lot of stuff.
First off, Ezekiel, let me pause you right there. 2 weeks before your exam, you got a 122 on cars.
Yes.
What did that do to you psychologically, right? And how did you overcome that?
At that point, I wanted to give up. I was down so much. I was like, I've tried. Like, I can't increase my score. You can't just increase your score high for cars. Like, it's something that takes time, right? It's something that when it reaches a stage, it will become steady. So at that point, when I got 121, then I got 122, I was like, yeah, I'll probably not do well on the MCAT.
Right.
I didn't try to change my date because I was like, I'm not ready to study again. Let me try to take this exam. Let me try to practice cars from now on much more than I was doing. So before that, I was doing like 3 passages a day. This time, I was doing 8 passages a day.
Wow.
So I was in for cars. And now, it's not just being in for cars. Like, I needed to develop a good study method for myself for that class passage. So what I did was that I went back to the way I was doing class. What was I missing? Oh, also the support system I was able to get back around it was that I talked to Alima, I talked to like I said, beauty. My fam didn't know about the MCAT at all. Like nobody knew until I took the after the MCAT in my family. But my friends, they knew, they noticed, or they noticed faster than expected. Like, oh, is you guys ready to study for the MCAT?
Right.
But yeah, they noticed, and so they already knew. So I was okay with it. So I was talking to them, and I was like, at that time, I was so depressed. I was like, I'm going to fail this exam. Am I not going to an MD PhD program? Everything was going through my mind. And they were like, Ezekiel, you'll be fine. I trust in you. You know how everyone talks like, I trust in you, like you'll be fine.
Yeah.
How they talk to me like it's just so reassuring. Like Ezekiel, we went through this together. I know you and I know you could do this. They believed in my strength, right? And like how we also met today, the first thing you did, you're like, Ezekiel, like you're so smart, all those stuff. But you also know how to encourage me yourself. But yeah, they told me all that. And then the next step I did, after all the encouragement, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this, but now I need to figure out how I'm going to do it.
Right.
And so I decided to like look into different methods of doing class. I discovered 5 different methods.
Wow.
The method, it will take me much time to talk about them.
No, please tell us about, just give like a brief, you can list them. Like what are the 5 different methods that you got to know about?
Okay. I'm just going to, the summary of them. So the first method, I was actually talking to someone recently and giving them different methods. The first method I saw was that I tried to understand the first paragraph. This was the method that is on the exam. I tried to understand the first paragraph, just the first paragraph. I used the first, before moving on to any other paragraph, I made sure I understood the first paragraph. I was able to direct my mind on what the first paragraph was about, what the main idea of the passage was about. So the first paragraph already gave me like what the idea of the passage is going to be. And so by the first paragraph, I became the author of the passage. So I started to think like the author. So I started to think, I'm writing this right now.
Yeah.
I'm the author. I'm the one sitting down here reading what I wrote down. I saw this question. I'm like, what would I say for this question?
So you put yourself in the author's perspective.
Exactly. Exactly. That was what the first method made me. I knew everyone is always talking about, like you have to be like the author and all this stuff, but nobody tells you how are you going to become the author? What are the methods? So that first method was the perfect one for me because it made me be the author. Immediately, when you read a passage, everybody just read and move on. But that first paragraph, read it, like try to understand what the first paragraph is saying, and use that first paragraph to get you in tone with the author. Feel the mood of the passage. That was what the first paragraph is, and that's why I believe the first paragraph is always. It's trying to make you be in the mood. Every time you do an introduction passage or you do like an introduction, it's always like the first thing. It's making you be in the mood of what everything this whole topic is going to be talking about, or everything the whole passage is talking about.
Okay, so I'm trying to be cognizant of your time, Ezekiel, because I know that you being an MD, not just a medical student, but an MD PhD student. Let's put some respect on that. So like I want to make sure that we're abiding by time so that you can have enough time to sleep and study and all that. So what was the second? Just list them. You can just list them.
So the first paragraph, just to understand the first and
that was the first what do we call it? The first car strategy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The second method.
The second one, yes.
Get a paper. The paper they give to you, write down in every paragraph just write down a little 3 words or 4 words describing the paragraph. Write down the summary of each paragraph. 3 to 4 words, just 4 to 5 words write down the summary of the paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
Use that to answer the questions. Use that to direct you back into what the question is. Use that to direct you back into the passage. So if a question asks something, look at what you wrote down, connect it back, and then go back to the paragraph and figure out the answer. That was the second method.
Okay.
The third method was reading the questions before the passage. Okay. So before you actually do the passage, read the questions. Try to understand what the questions are asking so that when you're reading the passage, you know what you're looking for.
Okay.
That was the third method.
On this one, I'll pause on this one and ask you, did that work for you or not?
It didn't work for me. It was the first method that worked for me. Okay. Only the first method worked.
Only the first one worked. Okay.
The second worked, but it was much slower.
That one was right. So it slows you down. Right. Okay.
Slows me down.
All right. So I guess the fourth one.
Yeah, the fourth one was I said it was considered. I consider it kind of like a stupid method, but it works for some people. So basically, the method is you try to read the whole passage within 1 minute. Within a minute. And then, as you answer the questions, you go back to the passage to use that to help you. Within that 1 minute is just to like get you into the mood of what the passage is talking about. And then the questions is what is going to guide you on what you are going to the question is going to guide you on what you are going to read on the passage. That was the fourth method. Did not work for me. Okay. It was extremely fast. The reason I actually use that method when I'm like I needed to do 2 more passages or 1 more passage and it remained like 10 minutes. Right. I use that method.
Okay.
It's better at guessing. And it's better at freaking out because when you have anxiety, by the time you are doing the next section, you still be thinking about class passage, and you don't want to be thinking about that. You want to make sure you fulfilled to your satisfaction.
Right.
Like you are much more satisfied with what you are doing.
So in your view, you will say that it is good to at least have more than one card strategy under your belt, right?
Yes.
So that when the time comes, you never know what could happen. You could just pull it out of your basket of tricks and use it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So let's go to the fifth one, right?
Yes. The fifth is the simplest and is the simplest method, and it's very common. I'm sure a lot of people do it. The fifth method is just to read the first paragraph. You don't need to understand it that much. Just read the first paragraph and then go straight to the questions and then answer. You know how you read passage when you're in high school? Like you look at the questions and then you look for the answer. You look at the question and you look for the answer. That's how the fifth paragraph is. It's different. Like the fourth method, like I said, you're reading within everything within 1 minute. The fifth paragraph is only the first paragraph you're reading, and then you just go straight to the method. It's also different from the third method, being that you're not looking at you're not looking at all the questions before reading the paragraph. This one you're doing the questions and the passages together.
Okay.
And in all these methods, even though they're all different methods, what I want to get you is that when you are practicing all these methods, practice them for accuracy, not timing. And that was what I realized 2 weeks before my exam. That I was too focused on time. I was doing job questions for time. I was doing every other all this all my normal studying for class for time. You don't study for class, but like when I was doing the passages, I was making sure, the time is going, like let me finish. No. When I was doing this, I was doing it for accuracy. I used that to figure out the best method for me. What was the best method that will give me the highest accuracy, even though it takes a long time? And that's when the first method came to be. It gave me the most accuracy. That means I was getting more questions right. And so everybody's like, oh no, time is important. Time is important. Not really. It's better to do 45 questions and get 40 questions correct than do 59 questions and get only 30 questions correct. Because the person that got 40 questions right out of 45 is still going to get an higher score than the person that got 30 questions correct out of 59. the accuracy is important. Even though you're going to do 7 passages or like 6 passages within your whole is it one, I think 1 hour 30 minutes for the CAS section. Use those 7, do only 7 passages. It's fine. Just make sure you're doing it for accuracy. Because imagine getting all the questions right in that 7 passages. You have already got an high score. You don't need to worry about the others you didn't do. That's what I'm saying. Study for when you're doing CAS, do accuracy. Focus on time later. Perfect your method. They can perfect your method with accuracy. You can figure out the time later.
Right.
And how to make it faster.
Right.
Right? Just figure out the accuracy. That's the one thing I want to say about the CAS. Second thing is be like the author. Do not have opinions. Opinions are unnecessary for CAS. So do not have any opinion.
Put yourself in the author's shoes. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. And that was the first method was the best thing for me to to be able to be the author. For me, right? It's different for other people. It might be the second, might be the third. But for me, it was the first method. And also the other thing I wanted to say, the third thing I wanted to say is that when you answer all these questions, no matter the method you use, like I said, you are all focusing on accuracy. Always make sure that whatever you're answering is what was in the passage. If the author said 2 plus 2 is equals to 22, please put 2 plus 2 is equals to 22. Don't put is equals to 4. Because that's what the passage says. You get what I'm saying? So every time you answer, the thing is that every time you answer a CAS passage, make sure it's supported by what the passage is saying. Don't make, maybe the passage is saying, if you are doing it and you say, oh, the passage is saying something similar, don't make your brain think it's similar. Actually, make sure it is what the passage is saying.
It is what
exactly. It's not A prime. It's not the derivative of A that you want to choose as an answer. You want to choose A as the answer.
Not A prime, not A double prime, not A triple prime.
None of those is A, because it's A that the passage is talking about, not A triple prime, all those stuff. Right? Those are your opinion. Those are your added opinions to the passage.
Right.
So that's not what you want to, like I said, like you see some passage that you won't even like, but it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you have to just choose what the passage is talking about. And people say, oh, CAS is useless, CAS is useless. I think one of the biggest things the CAS they're trying to do with CAS is they're trying to see, when you talk to patients, they want to see how would you feel if you're in the patient position. It's also like, how are you interpreting these patient stories? Because if a patient is talking to you, you don't want to start twisting what the patient is saying. You want to say it exactly how the patient is going to say it, exactly how they're saying it. You don't want to twist their words. So you are putting yourself in the patient's shoes by not twisting their words, right? And so that's what the CAS passage is making you not twist what the passage is saying. You're not having an opinion anymore when it comes to CAS. It's not about your opinion, it's about the passage. When you meet patients, it's not about your opinion, it's about what is the patient talking about. Exactly.
Right. Oh man, Ezekiel. Whew. This is a wealth of information that you're giving us today, brother. Thank you so much. Take like 2 minutes to give whatever general advice you have for premeds out there, all the way from freshman year into their senior year. What is your general advice for them?
This section has been so great. I think my best advice for everyone, or my general advice for everyone, is that do not give up. Do not make anybody tell you that you are not worth it, because you are. We need you in medicine. We all need each other in medicine. Do not tell anyone to tell you that, oh, you don't deserve, because it doesn't make sense. To be a great doctor doesn't mean that you need to be smart or you need to have the best knowledge. To be a great doctor is having the best patient review, right? You want your patient to say, oh, wow, like I went for this and my ailment, or like whatever was worrying me, I've been gone. That's what it means to be a doctor.
Right.
right? It's not about how smart you are. So do not allow anybody to tell you, or do not allow anything or your grades, your GPA, your MCAT, do not allow it to stop you. Do not allow it to block your progress. You know, one thing my parents always tell me is that do not give up without trying. Try it out. Anything you want to try it out. Don't just give up. And do not allow failures. You always have failures. You know, one of the biggest things, you always have failures. There's always failures in life. But what matters is not the amount of failures you have. It is how are you looking at the failures? What is your response to the failures? So when you feel something, do not look over it that, oh, yeah, next time I won't do this. Go in there, think about it. Why did I fail? How can I improve myself? What are the next steps to take so that the next step will be a success? That's how it is.
That's deep.
Right? Failure, I actually don't think of failure as failure. I think failure is always like a lesson. It's an opportunity for you to grow. So if you fail, use that as an opportunity to grow. Because during my MCAT season, I had a lot of failures. And if you hear what I've been saying for like the past 1 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes, you will hear that I had a lot of failures, but I make sure that I'm growing with it. I'm using it to grow. I develop methods. I develop ways for me to grow. Develop new outlook on things. That's the thing about failures. Use that to develop yourself to grow. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. Do not let anyone tell you what you need to become in life. Do not give up.
Thank you, man. Thank you. This one there, Charlie, now double. Oh, man. Charlie, Chuku Goziazi. Did I say it right, man?
I do not know. I'm not Igbo.
All right. If you're Igbo and you're listening to us, let me know in the comments whether I butchered that or I tried. All right, man. Thank you so much for the wealth of information again that you've given us today. I know that a lot of people have been blessed and touched by just the amount of tips and tricks and general advice that you've had for us. I know that God is going to use you for wonderful things, man. And so, thank you again for this. And guys, until we meet again, it's bye for now.
And before going, I want to say thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really happy to share any advice. And also wanted to say, like, if you want to contact me, like if you need any advice or you need someone to advise you or anything, especially in this career part, you could email me, right?
Absolutely.
You could reach out to Baffle and then you give you my email. Or you will give you my number. You could or go on LinkedIn, Ezekiel Olumuyide. You find me, message me.
Yeah. So I'll put in Ezekiel's contact information in the description. So make sure you check it out. All right. Make sure you check it out. Yeah.
Okay.
For sure, man. For sure. Always. So guys, until we meet again, it's bye for now. See you on the next episode.